The Bold and the Beautiful, spoilers for next 3 weeks, January 26th to February 13th, hint that Hayes Finnegan will have a babysitting crisis. Steffy Forrester Finnegan may also get dragged into a cover-up, while Sheila Sharp gets suspicious. The week of January 26th to the 30th may bring a dilemma for Steffy. After Steffy decides to go out of town with Electra Forrester unexpectedly, she will suddenly need someone to look after Hayes for a bit. Dylan will ride to the rescue and volunteer, since she'll indeed end up on babysitting duty. The catch is Will Spencer will join Dylan in spending time with Hayes, so they'll essentially be babysitting him together. Hayes will make some brown bag puppets with Will and Electra, so he might wind up asking awkward questions, like why she's living at the guest house and if they're a couple. Since Electra was against Dylan eating Will's teriyaki chicken, you can bet she'd be against this babysitting bonding too. Unfortunately, the trouble will continue when Dylan has some sort of ballerina mishap while alone with Will later. Ivy Forrester will spy on Will and Dylan through the beach house window, so she'll be shocked to see Dylan in his lap. In San Francisco, Steffy and Electra will meet with Dottie and her assistant, Joseph, so they'll present some jewelry items and try to impress them. After Deacon Sharp and Taylor Hayes finally share a real kiss, it may be the start of them truly sneaking around together during the week of February 6. Once Steffy comes home and finds out, she may become part of the cover-up, though she'll no doubt keep pushing Taylor to stop this madness. Sheila will inevitably start getting suspicious at some point, so Steffy may fear the worst. As for Electra, she'll presumably get some startling updates from Ivy upon her own return to Los Angeles. Electra may totally lose it on Dylan once she finds out about the lap incident that Ivy witnessed. This could lead to Electra putting her foot down and insisting that Dylan needs to leave Will's guest room. Will may object to forcing Dylan to live in her car again, but Electra may act like she deserves it for breaking the rules. Of course, Electra could also turn on Will himself and break up with him if she feels he's been disloyal as well. No matter how it all goes down, RJ Forrester may take advantage of the conflict and make his move with Electra. Next, B&B may finally let the fashion rivalry story heat up. By the time the week of February 9 to 13 gets underway, will Ridge Forrester find out about Eric Forrester's new job and blast his father? Katie Logan Spencer is thrilled to have Eric on board as her lead designer at Logan, but Ridge and Brooke Logan Forrester will be furious when they get that news. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers say Eric will rush to his own defense down the road, but plenty of backlash is brewing. Bold and Beautiful is teasing a twist involving Finn that will directly impact the beleaguered Miss Dillon, and could leave fans extra super-duper rooting for her as a result. After the notorious teriyaki chicken scandal of last week, which involved Dylan sharing a meal with Will unchaperoned whilst Electra was working late, the mousy art school teacher was firmly put on blast and on notice. Under no circumstances whatsoever is she to be in the presence of Will alone ever again, despite them living on the same premises. It felt like an over-the-top reaction on Electra's part, who seemed to be heaping all of her insecurities onto Dylan rather than taking it up with her boyfriend, and it turned off some fans. MarsKC24 on Reddit reacted, "I have an issue with the stay away from my man shtick." Sensitive Promise Zero came straight out and stated, "I'm rooting for Dylan to seduce Will away from Electra, as that brat has rubbed me the wrong way." If our hunch is correct, what's coming up will result in even more Bold and Beautiful fans jumping onto Team Dylan. But what does it have to do with Finn? Well, we'll tell ya. In Monday's episode, Finn inadvertently causes Dylan and Will to spend time together. A big no-no indeed, given that Electra will be out of town on a business trip. Steffy is called away on said business trip, and Finn calls on Dylan for help with Hayes when he gets called to the hospital. As the plot point plays out, Dylan will inexplicably end up not only in a ballet costume, but doing a grand jeté right onto Will's lap. We've no idea how we get from babysitting to performing Swan Lake, but we're guessing she innocently trips and falls onto the forbidden fruit Spencer. What happens next is what could turn the tide for Bold and Beautiful fans, however. Spoilers hint that Ivy will happen along at just the right moment to catch Will and Dylan in what appears to be a compromising position. Not waiting for Electra to weigh in, the Thunder from Down Under will immediately attempt to run pour down on her luck Dylan out of town on a rail. Now, if Dylan were doing this intentionally, viewers may be co-signing Ivy's eviction notice. But if it's an innocent misunderstanding, this whole scenario becomes a case of a meek young woman with no home or job being bullied by two privileged Forrester women. Not a good look, and quite likely to inspire a certain amount of outrage from fans who could very well start rooting for Dylan in a grand way. The Bold and the Beautiful is pitting Elektra and Dylan against one another. Elektra doesn't like knowing that Dylan and Will had dinner alone together. Meanwhile, fans already don't agree with how Elektra has treated her boyfriend, so they're rooting for Dylan to end up with Will. Over on Reddit, B&B fans agreed that they're rooting for Dylan. They hope she's successful in seducing Will. Elektra is going away on a business trip with her Aunt Ivy, but there's a change of plans. Ivy can't make it on the trip, so Elektra will be accompanied by Steffy. Meanwhile, her aunt will catch Will and Sydney in a compromising position. Fans haven't liked the way that Elektra has treated Will, especially when he was taken advantage of by Luna. Instead of empathizing with him, Elektra made the situation about herself. Some fans have called her behavior embarrassing. Once again, they're getting secondhand embarrassment by Elektra's reaction to her good friend. One Redditor wrote, "Talk about insecure. Elektra is embarrassing herself." Currently, Elektra has warned Dylan not to overstep her boundaries. She was upset with her friend for having dinner with Will. But some fans have argued that she should have taken this to Will rather than Dylan. Plus, Dylan is a relatable character. She doesn't come from wealth or privilege. Rather, she was homeless and living out of her car, which has fans rooting for her victory. One fan noted, "She's honestly the most sympathetic and rootable character they've had in a good while. 10 years at least. The homeless part felt kinda out of pocket for the show, and I didn't like it. But damn, she's been so relatable and likable since." What also helps matters is that Dylan is more grounded and down to earth, which is what Will needs in his life. Dylan's situation has already opened up Will's eyes to the world. She could teach him a lot. Someone else posted, "Yes, they better not make her psycho or evil. I would like an actual love triangle where Will falls for her simply because she is pure-hearted and not manipulative. Let Elektra be the villain instead." The Bold and the Beautiful is hinting that Steffy and Hope's rivalry will pick up steam once again. If it's not about Forrester Creations or Liam, it's about something else entirely. This time, it could be about their parents, who have feelings for one another. Once again, Steffy and Hope are getting involved in their parents' love lives, but this time, it's about Taylor and Deacon, who have grown close during their therapy appointments. But there's just one problem. Deacon is still married to Sheila, who could go after Taylor if their relationship becomes more than just professional. Steffy is concerned about her mother's safety. Meanwhile, Hope is only worried about her father's happiness. She's been begging him to divorce Sheila and start a relationship with Taylor. She doesn't think anything bad will come out of it. But of course, she's wrong. Sheila isn't going to give up on Deacon easily. She'll fight to the death, and she means that. If anything happens to Taylor, Hope will have a target on her back. Not only does she have to worry about Sheila's wrath, but she also has to worry about Steffy's revenge. The two have feuded over the years about their shared love for Liam and the future of Forrester Creations. But their starkly different reactions to their parents' situation could have them butting heads. Thomas and Zende returned only to disappear again. They wanted to work on Hope for the future together, but nothing has come out of this collaboration since. Now, there's a brewing fashion war. Katie launched her new fashion house, Logan, which had previously been trademarked under the Forrester Creations umbrella. The Logans, Spencers, and Forresters are already at odds over the outcome. Hope and Steffy's rivalry is likely to return. The preview for this week shows Deacon and Taylor kissing, which suggests trouble could be ahead for this new couple. They listen to Hope rather than Steffy, who's worried about what could happen next. Hope could also end up in trouble. Steffy could make the executive decision to ditch Hope for the future, leaving her arch-nemesis on her own. Will Hope end up at Katie's new fashion house with a whole new collection? The Bold and the Beautiful, spoilers for the next 2 weeks, suggest some curveballs. Fans can expect there to be a forbidden kiss. There is a twist in a business trip. Plus, Ivy Forrester faces a moral dilemma. Keep reading to find out what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Before starting on the two-weekers, let's discuss what is coming up from January 26 to 30. Fans will see Carter Walton continue to get closer to Daphne Rose. The two will be busy planning their wedding. Over at home, Sheila Carter Sharp will talk about how blessed she is to have Deacon Sharp. However, Deacon will just get uncomfortable and start obsessing even more about Taylor Hayes. It seems that Deacon will make a bold move with Taylor. When he cups the psychologist's face in his hands, they soon share a steamy kiss. Fans will also see Electra Forrester learn about a change in her business trip. Instead of Electra going with Ivy, Steffy Forrester Finnegan will go to San Francisco with the young jewelry designer. Electra warned Dylan to stay away from Will Spencer while she is gone. However, Ivy ends up peering through the beach house window. Ivy watches as Dylan gets ready to kiss Will. Ivy does turn away before they lock lips, so it is possible that Will pushes Dylan away at the last minute. Ivy won't know that, though, which could cause problems in Electra's relationship. The Bold and the Beautiful, spoilers for the week of February 2nd, reveal that Electra will come back to Los Angeles. Ivy will face a moral dilemma, but I can't see her keeping what she saw from Electra. Knowing Electra, this will make her want to get rid of Dylan even faster. As for Eric Forrester, he's excited to be Katie Logan Spencer's new lead designer. It is just temporary, though. In the meantime, Katie and Eric are trying to keep it a secret. Donna Logan Forrester is having a hard time keeping this from Brooke Logan Forrester, though. At some point, Sheila might start to suspect that there is more going on between Deacon and Taylor than just therapy, so stay tuned. Deke Sharp was an amazing addition to the Bold and the Beautiful cast, and Harrison Cohn was the perfect actor for their first gay male couple. But now that he knows Remy Sharp is a sociopath, there aren't any gay men left on the canvas. Rumor has it, the CBS soap might be creating a potential love interest for Deke by bringing a formerly straight character out of the closet. Here's what's coming up next on B&B, spoilers down below. Bold and the Beautiful just confirmed that Ridge Forrester and Brooke Logan's son, RJ Forrester, will be back in town this month. The soap opted to recast the role, and Hollywood newbie Brian Nicoletti is taking over for Joshua Hoffman. Is there a reason behind the recasting? The last time RJ was in Los Angeles, he was in shock and had just learned that his girlfriend, Luna Nozawa, was a serial killer. To add insult to injury, she slept with his cousin, Zende Forrester, too. RJ made himself scarce after the truth came out about Luna, and we all assumed he had checked into some sort of "I dated a serial killer" therapy retreat. Bold and the Beautiful rumors hint that RJ Forrester could be a new love interest for Deke Sharp. The last time we saw RJ, he was pretty straight, but after being traumatized by Luna Nozawa, he may have given up on women altogether. Some fans think that's why the writers recast the role and brought on Brian Nicoletti. After watching Joshua Hoffman romance the ladies, it might have been hard for fans to get on board with the character being interested in men. Do you think that Deke is dashing enough to get Ridge Forrester's prodigal son to come out of the closet? Who will Deke ever date if there aren't any other gay men on the soap? Let us know what you think in the comments down below and keep checking. Celebrating the soaps for more Bold and the Beautiful spoilers updates. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers reveal there are 3 must-see moments next week. From January 26 to 30, fans can expect Ivy Forrester to spy on Dylan. Steffy Forrester Finnegan throws a twist in Electra Forrester's plans. Plus, Deacon Sharp and Taylor Hayes kiss. Keep reading to find out what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Let's start off with Steffy, who announces there is a change of plans in Electra's trip. Ivy was originally going to go with Electra to San Francisco. However, Steffy tells Electra that she's going with her instead. The change in plans doesn't upset Electra at all. The young lady views it as a chance to learn from Steffy, as well as to bond with family. While Electra is gone, she made it clear that Dylan was supposed to stay in her apartment. The jewelry designer doesn't want any chance of Dylan getting too close to Will Spencer again. However, there is a scene where Will and Dylan are alone on the couch together. At one point, they start to lean in for a kiss. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers for the week of January 26th reveal that another must-see moment features Ivy. It seems that when Ivy decided to stay behind in LA, it was to keep a close eye on Dylan. However, when Ivy glances into the window of the beach house, she makes a horrifying discovery. Ivy suddenly looks away, reeling from Will and Dylan getting close to a kiss. Will Ivy report this back to Elektra, or keep it a secret? If Ivy confronts Will and Dylan, it could make things even messier. Finally, there is Deacon, who betrays Sheila Carter Sharp. The man ends up kissing Taylor, and the psychologist kisses him back. In the meantime, Sheila keeps gushing to everyone about how wonderful Taylor is. Sheila credits Taylor with saving her marriage. Even though everyone is trying to cover up Deacon and Taylor's romance, Sheila is going to find out the truth eventually. When that happens, will she really target Taylor as people believe? Or has Sheila been reformed for long enough that she might just react like a normal person? The Bold and the Beautiful. Spoilers point to Eric Forrester poaching a Forrester Creations designer for Katie Logan Spencer's new fashion house, Logan. The venture needs an influx of talent, even though Eric is already on board. Who deserves a new chance at Logan? Let's find out, B&B fans. Katie queried Deke Sharp about joining Logan, but he hasn't signed up. Yet. Deke is a promising up-and-comer, so will Eric share Katie's opinion? That may be a moot point now that RJ Forrester is back in LA. However, Logan needs more than one designer. So both Deke and RJ could find themselves working alongside OG Eric. Not so long ago, Eric saw red when his ingrate son Ridge Forrester tried to retire him twice. The first time around, Eric enlisted RJ to draw his designs when his hands failed him. Eric is now cancer-free and looking to show Ridge who's boss. And what better way than poaching Ridge's son? RJ took Eric's side in the past. Do you think he will repeat history? We can tell you that B&B spoilers hint that Eric asks RJ about what he wants for the future, and he could pitch defection from FC at the same time. RJ would like to see 3 generations of Forresters work together, but Eric refuses to entertain this notion after his forced retirement party. Given the way Eric feels about FC and Ridge, we predict that he approaches Katie with the idea of hiring RJ. RJ and Eric made a great team in the past, so Eric would be silly not to consider revisiting history. However, Eric's wish could make RJ uncomfortable, given that his dad Ridge and Brooke Logan Forrester want him to come back to FC. There would be even more complications if Eric asks RJ to work in secret. Tell us what you think, B&B fans. Will RJ jump to Logan to work with Eric? Spicy, the Bold, and the Beautiful spoilers indicate that RJ could find himself between a rock and a hard place soon enough. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers say Sheila Carter might have an unexpected ally in her corner. Is her bio son, Dr. John Finnegan, starting to feel bad for the villainess? More importantly, will he get served divorce papers from Queen Steffy if he defends her? Keep reading to find out. Here's what's coming up next on Bold and the Beautiful. Spoilers down below. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers say next week, Dr. Finn will start to second-guess his stance on Sheila Carter and Deacon Sharp. Finn could barely keep a straight face when his mom was bragging to him about how great her marriage was, thanks to his wife's mom, Taylor Hayes. Finn knows the truth. Deacon is just buying time until he finds a way to divorce Sheila without ending up in a body bag, and Taylor is definitely not fixing their marriage. According to B&B spoilers, Steffy Forrester has made it very clear what will happen if Finn tries to have a relationship with his troubled birth mom. If the good doctor tries to point out to his wife that Sheila has changed, or that she has a right to be upset over her husband and his therapist, it's not going to go well. Finn has always had a strong moral compass, and he's the most loyal husband we have seen on Bold and Beautiful in a long time. But how long is he going to stand by and let his clueless mom be set up for heartbreak? The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers suggest that Katie Logan Spencer might hire Melissa Dillon and Will Spencer. Will these new jobs for the Logans upset Elektra Forrester and increase her worries about her relationship? Elektra and Will talked to Steffy Forrester Finnegan about possibly getting Dylan a job at Forrester Creations. Unfortunately, the receptionist position didn't work out because Steffy had to give it to someone else. Dylan could apply for an internship, but she really needs a proper job to earn money quickly. Could Katie step in and provide Dylan with a great job opportunity? Dylan has a lot of skills and talent as an artist, so there could be a spot for her at Logan. Plus, Katie is eager to assemble a team quickly. At some point, Will may suggest that Melissa Dillon would be a great match and might encourage her to share some of her work with Katie. Katie could review it and quickly agree since she's seeking fresh, unique ideas to help Logan stand out. It's possible that she will meet all of Katie's criteria and soon find herself working at the Logan offices. Elektra might be happy that she is finally earning a paycheck, but then an unexpected twist could change everything. Will has been worried about his job security at Forrester Creations. Given the tension stirred up by Katie's fashion house, it's understandable why Will would be anxious about his position at Forrester. Ridge Forrester basically reassured Will that he doesn't blame him for his parents' actions. The drama surrounding Katie has nothing to do with Will, and Ridge doesn't believe Will is like his troubled father, Bill Spencer, either. However, B&B spoilers indicate that trouble is likely on the horizon. If Will hears Ridge speaking poorly about Katie, and it goes too far, he might defend his mom and leave. There's a perfectly good Spencer empire waiting for Will if he chooses to be a part of it. Will has the option to work for Bill at Spencer Publications, but Katie may convince him to apply his knowledge of the fashion industry to assist her in launching Logan. If both Will and Dylan join forces at Logan, you can be sure that Elektra will be furious. The thought of Dylan and Will sharing the same workspace without her could create a significant issue for Elektra. According to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Dylan will lead to much larger problems in the upcoming weeks, so keep an eye out for any breakup news that could be developing for Elektra and Will. The Bold and the Beautiful, spoilers for January 26, 2026, features Steffy accompanying Elektra on a business trip, and Finn giving Dylan and Will the chance to bring Elektra's worst nightmare to life. Elektra and Ivy were set to go on a business trip this week, but it appears Steffy will take her cousin's place. Before she leaves town, Elektra laid down some new ground rules for Dylan after discovering that she and Will shared a teriyaki chicken dinner for two. She has essentially banished Dylan to the guest house and ordered her to avoid the main house at all costs. With levels of insecurity through the roof, this might be the worst possible time for Forrester to send Elektra out of town on business. Elektra and Steffy leaving town might be the best thing for everyone else in town. They spent the majority of last week's episodes telling everyone what to do and how to act, so this is a much-needed reprieve. Dylan can have some freedom to not feel like the world's biggest burden, and Will can exist without walking on eggshells. Deacon and Taylor might appreciate the break from Steffy as well. She ordered the pair to cease contact to avoid the wrath of Sheila, so with Steffy away for a bit, they might dive deeper into their growing connection. Monday's episode is also slated to feature Finn inadvertently causing Dylan and Will to spend time together. It seems that anytime Steffy is out of the picture, Finn has no clue how to exist in real life. He welcomes any and all sorts of trouble, and somehow he finds himself mixed up in the drama surrounding Will and the woman who ran down his lunatic daughter. It's unclear exactly what Finn does to facilitate this bonding session, but it's bound to have consequences for everyone involved. Elektra was crystal clear about her expectations for Dylan while she was away in San Francisco. She didn't want Dylan entering the main house for any reason while she was out of town, and now her boyfriend and the homeless former art teacher are set to get much more acquainted. Also, Ivy is no longer accompanying her niece on the business trip, so expect Ivy to make an appearance at the beach house this week to snoop on Elektra's behalf. Ivy has been determined to break that relationship apart since Luna was carrying Will's baby, and this is her best shot at doing so. On The Bold and the Beautiful, Deacon's marriage to Sheila and his growing feelings for Taylor have taken center stage. Deacon reconciled with Sheila after starting therapy with the good doctor, but as his sessions with Taylor increased, their connection grew as well. Despite Deacon's children urging him to leave Sheila for Taylor, the number one reason he hasn't given in to the temptation is the potential violent reaction from Sheila. However, the longer Sheila goes without a significant incident, one question begins to form. Is Deacon creating a self-fulfilling prophecy? The natural assumption is that Sheila will revert to her former ways and wreak havoc on the lives of everyone who betrayed her. Honestly, as ruthless as she can be, would that be the most unjustified thing? Sheila has worked tirelessly to prove herself to Deacon, Taylor, and both of Deacon's children that she's a changed woman, but nobody has taken her seriously. They wanted her to be a better person, and she's doing her best. But that doesn't stop them from name-calling and excluding her from major family functions. Deacon is terrified of what Sheila might do if she learns the truth about what's happening in the therapy sessions. Steffy's made it abundantly clear where she stands on the matter, but Hope and Deke are desperate for their father to end his marriage. They're willing to make Taylor collateral damage if it means that he is far away from Sheila. The adult thing to do in the situation would be to explain to Sheila that things aren't working out and have the courage to tell her face-to-face that it's over. Engaging in an affair behind Sheila's back is a surefire way to create the very monster that Deacon fears the most. There's no denying the chaos that Sheila has caused in the past. She also shouldn't have kept the Luna secret from her husband. However, she's far from the only person in Los Angeles who kept the truth about Luna under wraps. Sheila is held to an impossible standard, and no matter how genuine her changes are, people won't believe in her. Everyone walks around scared of what she's capable of, but their acts of betrayal feel like an open invitation for Sheila to resurrect the version of herself that she's tried so hard to bury. Sheila could do the funniest thing ever and prove everyone wrong. Instead of giving in to her darkest impulses and succumbing to the persona that everyone expects, she could do the opposite. Sheila could handle Deacon and Taylor's infidelity with dignity and grace and choose to make a clean break. If they want to act morally superior and treat her like she's a caged animal that can't be let out, the best revenge would be to react differently. A version of Sheila who chooses herself over death and destruction would be more compelling than returning to the same old narrative. Deacon has made incredible advancements in his life, but people were willing to give me a second chance. Sheila hasn't really had that. She was never able to form a genuine relationship with her son Finn because of her past attacks on Steffy's family. Luna's life was cut short before they could spend much time together. Every time Sheila tries to create a connection and prove herself to someone, they are either forced to cut her off or end up dead. The lone example is Lee, and people should really learn from her example. Sheila nearly killed her, but Lee recognizes the changes she'd made and treats her friend accordingly. In all likelihood, Sheila probably won't choose this path, and she will seek the route of revenge, and it's hard not to feel like Deacon and Taylor earned what's coming their way. There's a right way and a wrong way to pursue their feelings, and in their case, it might be the deadliest option possible. Here are your what-to-watch moments and spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful for the week of January 26-30, 2026. Be sure to tune in to CBS every day to see how things play out in Los Angeles, according to soap opera news. Monday, January 26th, Steffy joins Elektra on a business trip to San Francisco. Tuesday, January 27th, Elektra and Steffy prepare a jewelry presentation for mega-rich socialite Dottie Bright, and her assistant, Joseph Carter, tells Daphne about his plans for the future. Wednesday, January 28th, Brooke encourages RJ to work with Ridge. A wealthy buyer visits Elektra, and Steffy Ivy witnesses a close moment between Will and Dylan. Thursday, January 29th, Ivy confronts Dylan. Elektra confides in Steffy. Friday, January 30th, Ivy demands that Dylan leave town immediately. Sheila is grateful to Taylor for saving her marriage. A special moment is shared by Deacon and Taylor catch all new episodes of The Bold and the Beautiful weekdays on CBS and Paramount+. This week on The Bold and the Beautiful, the Forrester family continued to bully and belittle the entire canvas. With Ridge at the helm, every member of the family went out of their way to assert their dominance and superiority over the other inferior families. Whether it's a down-on-her-luck art teacher or a restaurateur following his heart, nobody was immune to the authority of the Forrester family. The only member of the family who seems to be grounded in reality is Eric, which has landed him in hot water of his own. Los Angeles has once again proved that the Forresters are clowns in a circus of their own making. The Forresters were rude to just about everyone this week. While that's not much different than every week, it felt more intense and abrasive than usual. Ridge had the audacity to bash Will's parents in front of him. It's one thing to have opinions about Bill Spencer, and it's even somewhat understandable to be upset with Katie, but there's no reason to drag Will's parents in front of him. Will was understandably concerned about his spot at the company, and before assuring him that his position was safe, Ridge felt compelled to list the reasons why Will's parents discussed him. How has this man's ego remained unchecked for this long? The Steffy of it all is just as egregious. Steffy trotted around town all week, demanding that everyone follow her rules and commands. She treats her mother like a child who needs to be watched like a hawk on a school playground. Taylor is a grown woman capable of making her own life decisions, but Steffy continues to talk down to her at every turn. Steffy did the same to Deacon and to Hope, and it's very much giving Steffy's way, or the highway. It wouldn't be surprising to see Steffy use the fate of Hope's line against her to get her to follow commands. Elektra proved this week that she's a Forrester clown through and through. Her deep insecurity is evident in every scene she shares with Dylan. With Ivy in her ear, Elektra is back on the victim train and treated Dylan's impromptu dinner with a full-scale attack on her life. This family is a complete nightmare, and every week is filled with numerous instances of elitist behavior masquerading as a desire to help or do what's right. The act has grown tired, and patience for their attitude is growing thinner than ever. The biggest disappointment of the week is undoubtedly Donna's reaction to Eric agreeing to design for Katie's new fashion house. She acted as if Katie sought out Eric as her designer to cause more pain and suffering for Brooke and Ridge. How does Donna not see that Brooke and Ridge are simply suffering direct consequences of their own actions? This is a mess of Brooke and Ridge's own making, and now they're forced to deal with the repercussions of how they treat people. Eric and Katie didn't just wake up one day and decide to defect from Forrester. This was a slow burn that could have been avoided on both fronts. Donna needs to do better by her husband and support his hopes and dreams. Ridge and the rest of his family act as if designing dresses will put Eric in the grave. If that sounds assassine, that's because it is. Doing what he loves and bringing sketches to life won't cause his untimely death. Let's be serious for a moment. Donna should be less like one sister and more like the other. It shouldn't be too difficult to figure out which is which. Elektra and Steffy head to San Francisco for a jewelry presentation. Elektra takes Steffy into her confidence. Finn sets events in motion, leading Will and Dylan to spend time together. Ivy checks out a close moment between Dylan and Will. Ivy puts Dylan on notice and demands she leave town. Sheila continues to be ridiculously grateful to Taylor for saving her marriage. Deacon and Taylor share a special moment. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers for the week of January 26 to 30 reveal that Brooke Logan is delighted to have RJ Forrester. "Well, this is a familiar sight. It's like you never left," Brooke tells RJ, who came in from a swim. Steffy Forrester decides to join Elektra Forrester on a business trip, taking Ivy Forrester's place. "You're coming to San Francisco," Elektra beams at Steffy. "Change of plans," Steffy replies. Sheila Carter reminds Deacon Sharp of how lucky they are to have Taylor Hayes. "We are so incredibly blessed to have her," Sheila tells Deacon. Later, Deacon and Taylor share a kiss. Meanwhile, Dylan and Will Spencer spend some alone time at the beach house. Ivy is shocked to see the two nearly kissing. As the week comes to a close, she demands that Dylan leave town immediately. Steffy joins Elektra on a business trip to San Francisco. Finn inadvertently causes Dylan and Will to spend time together. Elektra and Steffy prepare a jewelry presentation for mega-rich socialite Dottie Bright and her assistant, Joseph. Carter tells Daphne about his plans for the future. Brooke encourages RJ to work with Ridge. A wealthy buyer visits Elektra and Steffy. Ivy witnesses a close moment between Will and Dylan. Ivy confronts Dylan. Elektra confides in Steffy. Ivy demands that Dylan leave town immediately.